Alright, hey lads, welcome back to Albion. We finally managed to find this, or were led into the Illuminati, weren't we? Sort of. And we have a new character, Harriet. She seems to be very cleric-like. She's an enlightened one. Level 10, wow, you're way behind. Pretty sure. 24, 20, yeah, you are extremely behind. So what do? Do you just cast support spells? She has a dagger and a goddess amulet. This amulet is a sign of my association with the G-Contos. She won't take it off. That's fine. That's fine. What I am gonna do though, I am gonna see if I can equip you with something more useful. Actually, no. You know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna have a look around first. Can we talk to this person? That's Earkeith, yeah. May Anime Bona be with you. Helromir Tom. What does Helromir even mean? I am Earkeith, and I have a lot of insight into the old songs of Homer. Whomst? If you'd like to know something, then just ask. What are you talking about? You say all these words, pretending like I'm supposed to understand. What's Anime Bona? It means the flow of souls. She is the daughter of an unknown god. We enlightened ones also call her Entity. She is our creator and mother, together with her younger brother, Animenkna. That means bridal of souls. She created the heaven and the earth, the animals and the plants. Up to now we thought she created Albion by herself without her brother. And now you have come here, so Animenkna must have also participated in the creation of Albion. That is very frightening to us, for where should we turn when Animenkna's spirit has crushed Albion as well? Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I guess we're gonna go through it one step at a time. The name of the world is Albion. It means white lands. We always thought this was the land of Anime Bona, but maybe Animenkna was also right when he answered her. Okay, who's this lad? The younger brother of Anime Bona. He is the ruler of your world, for he is the order, the consistent, the logical. We call it the bridal. He created everything together with his sister. Only in the case of men, Anime Bona wanted to create her own people, the Celts. And Animenkna was jealous of the people she created, and so he created his own people, the Helromir. Yeah, I kinda wanna know more about that. You've been calling me that for a while now. There's no doubt that they are very clever people. Some of them even succeeded with their causal logic to recognize that Animenkna is not only the son of the unknown god. They had great singers and thinkers, Homer and Aristotle, so you know these people. But their flaws allow them to get stronger than us. They developed writing, as did we, but their writing soon began to no longer just mean what it said. For them, the writing was what it said, and their words were what they meant. The flow of language froze, and they began to stack individual concepts onto the other like stones. Their language lost its spirit. They were still very clever, but without spirit. They built the tower of their words, higher and higher, and converted everything magical, which they feared, into dead material, and filled it with new spiritless life. But they completely control this undead material. Sounds vaguely religious, something animistic to it, or whatchamacallit. There's so much to talk about. Do you know who Aristotle is? He built the Tower of Words. Where Ulysses laid the foundation, Aristotle devised the means to build the tower to great heights. He was a great thinker, there's no doubt about that. But he only used the goals of the Animenkna. The Helromir value him as the founder of logic, and for them, that is the highest thing. But even through their logic, the Helramir have still not been able to understand the essence of magic. They may be stronger than the Celts, but they're still far from being everything. I see. So who's the unknown god then? It is typical that you, Helramir, would ask about that. He is unknown, therefore there's nothing more to say about it. Yeah. I wanted to say, like, couldn't you try to figure it out, but I get what you mean. That is the scientific approach. That is the Helramir approach, I assume. So Homer, you know about Homer as well. His songs are an accurate image of the war between the two poles. Especially the second part, which deals with the wanderings of Ulysses, is very instructive. For Ulysses incorporates the principle of animenchna like no one else before his time. For him, adjusting to the flow of events is no longer important. He no longer feels himself to be a part of the flow of anime bona, which man has always felt up to then. For him, adjusting to the flow is only superficial. He is like a boat, which conquers a river because it superficially matches its movements, but he uses its abilities to conquer it for its own purposes. Purposes which belong to an entirely different world than the purpose of the flowing river. In this way, Ulysses hopes to escape the threat of the river. I get what you mean. I understand what you're talking about. It's a matter of either living symbiotically with nature or fighting against it. That's essentially, I believe, the difference between the two poles. Something which mankind has always done. So Ulysses, just look at how he meets the dangers he is exposed to. He defeats the giant Polyphemus by calling himself no one. In this way, he imitates his ends, which chooses its name freely from its being. But the name Ulysses invents has nothing to do with the ends, but with the purpose which it serves. He calls himself no one, and after no one has served his purpose, he will remove it like a piece of clothing. He deceives the sirens when he listens to their songs, without falling victim to them. He does this by wrapping himself in chains. Chains which are the principle of animenchna, for anime bona lets everything flow freely. In this way, Ulysses can set himself above his companions, who have to row with their ears plugged. This is also new. A leader can gain knowledge, which he must deny his followers so that all will survive. Force and order everywhere, the principle of animenchna. And the climax is reached when Ulysses comes home. This is some fairly, I'm assuming, unconventional reading of Homer's works. I don't know, actually. I've never gone into the analysis, but it feels somewhat unconventional and very interesting. So can you talk about the ends? When Ulysses comes home, no one recognizes him, except for his dog and his nurse. The dog recognizes him by his ends. The nurse recognizes him because she knew him in a former life. A life when Ulysses still swam with the flow, and was bound by the principle of anime bona, where he received a scarred wound in battle with a wild boar. The new Ulysses would outsmart the boar and not get wounded. He outsmarts his wife's suitor by concealing his true identity and turning himself into a beggar. Bathrick later uses the same self-denigration, and he always said that whoever denigrates himself will be raised at the end. In any case, Ulysses' untrustworthy wife recognizes him only when he pulls the bow, which can be pulled by no one but Ulysses. And here, for the first time, Ulysses consciously returns to his own ends, and subjects himself to it for his own purpose, the purpose of protecting his family and retaining his lordship. He succeeds in doing this so convincingly that, before long, everyone is emulating his image. They do not even notice that they lost their freedom. In the end, they all became the no one who conquered the giants. Well then, Yeah, I've been wondering about that ends word. What does that mean? I will try to make this clear to you. That which brings you to speak of I, and thus to mean something, which differentiates you from the others, is the ens, so the consciousness. But the ens is more than that. The ens is everything you are. If you try to describe it in words, you will fail, because words are fixed concepts to you. They don't flow. Perhaps you should ask our healer. I mean, it does kind of sound like consciousness. We can't really define it either. And we have tried, and we have failed. I guess I'm gonna keep going. What about this Bathrig? He was the son of Sathar, but much more clever than the latter, because he did not conquer the Celts through war, in which they were difficult to beat. Rather, he enticed them by preaching the unknown god to them. Unfortunately, this was very enticing for many of the Celts. They did not recognize that by preaching the unknown god, Bathrig gave him a name, as is the nature of the Helramir. Kanto discovered his true nature, and at the same time saw that the earth was lost to the Helramir. He with the last faithful ones to Albion, a place where the Helramir did not yet have access. Their Tower of Words was not yet high enough, and now it appears to be. Okay, so you guys are aware of the fact that the humans on this planet came from Earth. That's essentially what this boils down to. But there was a difference of opinion in an extremely fundamental spiritual way, which I'm assuming, I mean, I'm sort of speculating, but our planet is sort of heading towards as well. Can you talk about magic? Since magic has no words, it is difficult to explain. Imagine that you are with friends, and all of you had a vivid concept of an event. This event will happen when you have the right access to the anime bona. For Helramir, it is very difficult to grasp, but who knows? Perhaps Draenag, our magic teacher, can help you. Have him explain to you precisely how our transport caves work. Transport caves, you say? Naturally, Draenag knows more about that, but this much I can tell you, it's a really good thing. You can use it to travel to any place in Albion in a split second. Ooh, oh wow. Can we sort of wait? Does that have anything to do with the eyes that we've seen all over the place? Maybe it does. Can we talk about the entity? She views things and living beings as individuals who do not belong to an order or a higher state of being. You know, everything has its own magic, its own ends. Therefore, a man does not become a man because he externally appears as a man, but he simply is a man. Wow, this kind of talk in the 90s, interesting. Therefore, we call the counterpart of the entity, her brother Animenkna, the Ontic, because he classifies everything and brings order to that which he sees as chaos, when it is really nothing more than a variety of all ends. To explain it simply, a man who feels like a Niskai is a Niskai. Animenkna would never understand this. For him, this Iskai would be a man because he looks like one. Wow! These lads, absolute lads, incorporate fucking dysmorphia into their game in the 90s. Like, so casually as well. Right, so what about the enlightened ones? We are an order of beings who have reached a certain degree of understanding into the thoughts of anime bona. We're no longer human or Iskai, although we used to be one of the two. We are only the enlightened ones. Our ends is enlightened. However, we are not a solid group, but are only loosely assembled here. For outsiders, this may appear to be a little chaotic, however in reality, our ends lead us here when we are needed. We also recognize each other by our ends, so essentially as just a very roundabout way of saying, we judge a man by his character, not the way he looks. That's essentially what it boils down to. but like in a very extreme way. You try to apply it in every aspect of life. The three greatest heroes of the Celts, the people of Bona, were Vercingetorix, Catuvellaunus, and Canto the Wise. They fought against the Helramir, Zathar, and his son, Bathric. Is that gonna jump more onto us? Yeah, it is. Fine, let's go through them one by one. Evenci was the brother of Catuvellaunus and was the first to fall in the battle against Zathar. Okay, what about his brother? The Celts' greatest warrior and a talented leader, he fell in the battle against Zathar. Okay, so Zathar was the greatest warrior of the Helramir and a great leader. He was the first to bring dead material against the Celts, and he had great success converting even his armies into dead material. Dead material, which consisted of living soldiers. But he lost his life by his own weapon, Broto, after he killed the other two. So what the hell is Broto? Broto means sting. I believe that's a T, sting. He was the sting of Zathar, and at the same time his fate. There's an old saying that the Helramir will be destroyed by their own weapons someday, but I prefer to believe that they will be robbed of their superiority through their weapons. It goes against the spirit of Bona for Animenkna to disappear completely, for the river exists only when there is a mountain and a valley. Huh. What about Canto? He led the Celts to Albion after he discovered the true nature of Bathric. So last but not least, what about the answer? It would be best if our bard sings that for you. She recently composed a wonderful song which tells our history since the beginning of time. Yeah, speaking of talking to people, Mary is a treasure for our order, okay? I should probably have a chat with our own people. Can I show things to you? Guard this amulet well. It is the only possibility for gaining access to the transport caves. Yeah, so the eyes I've seen all over the place, I'm assuming are gonna be places I can teleport to. Which means I can go back, learn more spells, get more equipment. This is very important. I think I might farm a little bit and train my dudes, especially in critical hit. Well then, I guess that's it. That was extremely interesting. I feel like this is gonna be the episode of plot dumping, apparently. I'm not super sure how big this place is, but... what I'm definitely gonna try to do is explore as much as I can without progressing the plot, and then teleporting back, and essentially gearing up my people. And since we've lost Syrah and Malthus, I'm assuming we're gonna be able to get him back. So I'm gonna see if I can find him. Can I talk to you? Oh, it's Frill! How you doing, buddy? It's a beautiful complex, and the park around the house is like paradise. You must come here often. That is true. In Girinar, I am well known for my frequent travels. Now you see where most of them lead. The transport caves allow all... oh yeah, that's how he goes around the place. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So what about your thing? Well, here with the Gicontos, I have a similar function as the Girinar. Studying history, that makes sense. Okay, tell us more about the transport caves. Dranek knows more about that, but this much I can tell you. It's a really good thing. You can use it to travel to any place in Albion in a split second. It is our strongest magic. I have small hope that to continue the story, I'm gonna have to transport to the right thing, so I'm gonna be able to leave that for last. Since magic has no words, yeah, okay, so... this guy is just gotta pretty much say the same thing, isn't he? Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic. Can we talk to the lads? Can we talk to Raynor, perhaps? Hold on, I'm gonna put Tom in the front. What happens if I ask Rainer about Anime Bona? Okay, what about Frill? Can you tell us something about Frill? No. Whoops, sorry about that. Can you tell us about the Gigantos? Like, the place we just arrived. You should have something to say, right? No. Okay, fine then, fine then. How about Dreer? Can you tell us more about the past? This is the thing we heard before, right? I'd like you to leave us for now, so we can get somebody to leave, really. We weren't able to do that before. Interesting. I don't want to tell Dreer to leave, holy shit, he's basically carrying this party. Can we talk to Kunak before we do anything useful? Is he ready to open up already? No, he doesn't seem quite interested. That's fine, that's superb. I don't particularly need you to open up. I just kind of want to get all the information I can. What about you? Can you tell us more? About yourself, essentially. Well, my life was and is governed entirely by Anime Bona, the entity. Even if it hasn't always made me happy. Sometimes I have visions and receive unclear messages from the entity. In the small village where I grew up, I was an outsider because the people were afraid of my trance states. When I was 14, I ran away from home and met Frill. He recognized my special talent and brought me in. I see. Caves are power centers blessed by the entity. There she makes it possible for the traveler to reach his destination. As long as I and the amulet of the goddess are with you, you can travel to the remote corners. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm assuming she's gonna say the same things. Can we just do the unknown god? Yeah. I would love to hear more about the unknown god, but seems like they don't want to, like, by definition. Because they not only know him, they not only describe him to be unknown, but also assume that that's the only state he can be. Kinda wanna ask Frill about the same thing, but yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna explore. I'm gonna be here forever, otherwise. Is this a door? No. This is a door, though. This is a very nice place, very opulent. These people are living well, apparently. Examine, come on. Oh, it's a cabinet. Can I not open it? No. Can I go in? Oh, wait. Are you Frill? Buddy? Are you Frill? You are. I know I'm horrendously racist, but it's sometimes hard to keep you guys apart. What's in here? Some beds. Would there by any chance be some goodies? Anything. Anything interesting. This place is huge. I guess it's a bit like the start of the game, where you sort of enter into the spaceship, and you have so much room to sort of go around and talk to people. It feels like the same deal. It feels like this is meant to be the official midsection of the game. Sort of an intermezzo. Oh, who's this? Hey, buddy. Buddy. I wish you health and a peaceful end. It's beer. Oh, you're a healer. I don't think we have any issues, to be honest. But can we just talk about you? I am Beer, healer and teacher of the planet Omicron Persei A. Okay, tell us more about the ens. Ens is that which makes you alive. Ens is your I, your id, your ego. I see. So ens is the soul. No. The soul is a classification of animenkna. According to Bathrick, only humans have a soul. He says that animals do not have a soul. Do Iskai have a soul in this sense? Hard to say. In any case, the soul is nothing more than an attempt of animenkna to classify and categorize the ends for himself. If you wanted to summarize the ends with your words, then you would have to say that it is the soul plus conscience. But of course, the ends is inseparable. And if I were to say your soul is the body of your ends, and your conscience is its actions, then I believe that this is the best explanation that can be understood by your way of thinking. But always remember that a body cannot be separated from its actions. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you are the sum of your actions, which not only influence the world, but your own actions sort of influence your own way of thinking as a feedback loop. So it makes sense. It all sort of ties together. There is no closed system of human. It doesn't exist. Bathrick, I cannot deny that there is something fascinating about this being. No one turned Animebona against herself more cleverly. His words sounded like freedom and Animebona, and what he said was animenkna. That is I kind of want to know more about this Bathrick fellow. I want to know what he said. I'm pretty sure this is all the same information, isn't it? Well, looks like we need to find the bard. First and foremost,